Good evening, Sarawak. It's 8 p.m. Saturday, October 17th. This is DDWeekly. It's good to be with you. I'm Ling Hui. We are here to bring you a recap of the top news stories that made headlines across Sarawak for the week. Prominent businessman Tan Sri Ting Pek Khiing has passed away at his residence in Jalangsong yesterday. He was 79 years old. Born in Bintangor, Ting started as a fruit seller with his father. Their small business eventually grew into a huge success, then he ventured into the construction industry. Among his major well-known projects in Sarawak were the construction of the 15 billion ringgit Bakun Dam in 1994, new Bintulu Airport in 2002, and upgraded Kuching International Airport in 2003. Over in Peninsular Malaysia, Ting's company successfully completed the construction of Sheraton Langkawi Beach Resort within 100 days. 3 outstanding individuals headed the list of 1,194 recipients honored with awards and medals on the Head of State Tun Abdul Tai Mahmud's 84th birthday celebration on October 10th. Minister of Education, Science and Technological Research, Datuk Seri Michael Manyin Jawong, Chief Secretary to the Federal Government, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, and Setakan Assemblyman, Datuk Seri Muhammad Ali Mahmud, were bestowed the Datuk Amar Bintang Kenyalang, which carries the title Datuk Amar. 3 individuals received the Panglima Negara Bintang Sarawak, which carries the title Datuk Sri. They were Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, Datuk Alexander Nantalinggi, Katibas Assemblyman Datuk Ambrose Bikau Inturan, and Chief of the Malaysian Armed Forces, General Tan Sri Effendi Buang. Next, congratulations Sarawak for the official launching of the first state-owned TV station, TV Sarawak, which ceremony was graced by Head of State Tun Abdul Tai Mahmud and Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg on October 11th. With the official launching, Abang Johari checked off another promise made after he took over from the late Pehin Sri Adinan Saten. He emphasized that TVS will become the flagship of Sarawak's endeavor to tap the potential of the local creative industry. Confident that Sarawak is not short of local talents and content materials to showcase to national and even global audiences, he said TVS will provide more opportunities for Sarawakians to excel in the creative field. Abang Johari disclosed that the state government is planning to expand TVS into a digital terrestrial television platform under MyTV, which is free for viewing and monthly subscriptions. TVS is now accessible nationwide through Astro Channel 122, Enjoy 122, and Astro Go mobile application. Moving on to politics, Parti Keadilan Rakyat President Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim had on October 13 submitted to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah necessary documents and statutory declarations to prove the claim he had secured majority support of members of parliament to form a government. Insisting to have registered a formidable convincing majority, he thus said it was appropriate for Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to resign as he has lost his majority. The opposition leader also claimed that the new government led by him would safeguard the rights of all Malaysians, even though the focus will be on Muslims and the Bumiputra. However, the controller of the royal household, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, revealed in a statement the same day that Anwar presented the total number of MPs that he claimed were supporting him, but did not present the list of names to support his claim during his session with the king. Briefly responding to the issue in a live press conference, Muhyiddin said he will leave it to the king to decide on the next course of action over Anwar's claim. He said his main interest and concern was to manage the country's COVID-19 pandemic and the economy. Reacting to this, Parti Bersaka Bumiputra Bersatu Information Chief Dato' Idris Buang thinks that Anwar is out pranking the nation with some instability as Halloween is fast approaching. Providing ambiguous or no proof of real support to be Prime Minister, Idris considered Anwar's claim as another pre-Halloween thrill and nothing more than that. PBB Vice President Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah expressed no confidence in Anwar to have secured the majority of support to take over the federal government. If the claims could be substantiated, Abdul Karim said the king would have already made the decision. Coming up next is more updates in the state. Tasai Biru Assemblyman Dato' Henry Harry Jeneb had on October 10th, in a function in Bau, issued an ultimatum to the village chiefs and village security and development committees secretaries to support the government of the day or to step down. He asserted that there should be no second thoughts about this, so as to ensure continuity in receiving grants from the GPS government for development purposes. Otherwise, they would be deprived of progress. His remarks have drawn immediate criticisms from various quarters. Democratic Action Party BAU spokesman Granda Aing reminded Harry that he has no right to use such tone as it was against the Constitution. Granda deemed it as interfering with people's rights to freedom of speech guaranteed under Article 14 of the Federal Constitution. He asserted that it was totally unbefitting for an elected person to threaten his own constituents. He also pointed out that the money used to pay the allowance of JKKKs came from Sarawak consolidated funds and not from GPS, nor its component parties, which should be disbursed without discrimination but in accordance with the law. Sharing the same view with Granda, Bersih Sarawak Vice President N. Teo warned that if such call were to be made during an election, it could be construed as a violation of Section 9 of the Election Offences Act, which is a punishable offence. She pressed that such values and attitudes have no place in the progressive Sarawak, especially if it claimed to be a mature government ready to take on the responsibilities of a democratic state. With the Kanowit-Kapit Road partially opened for public use since October 4th, express boat operators plying along the Rajang River are concerned that it could put them out of business. Sarawak's 3rd, 6th and 7th Divisions Express Boats Association Deputy Chairman Ting Won admitted that their business has been adversely affected with passenger load decreased by 80%. They had on average between 70 to 80 passengers for each trip from Cebu to Kapit, but now there are only about 30 passengers or less who still use the express boat services. He believes that it is just a matter of time that they will close down their businesses. However, Assistant Transport Minister Datuk Dr. Jerib Susil opined that it is not the end for express boat operators, as there are still many schools and longhouses which have yet to be linked by spur routes along the Rajang River and the Baram River. He thus advised the operators to revamp their services, including refurbishing their vessels to maintain their relevance, as riverine transport is still essential for transportation of goods and passengers. Before the town is accessible, towns and settlements along the Rajang River can only be reached by river transport, in which express boats were the only mode of public transportation. It takes about 3 hours to travel from Cebu to Kapit through Kanowit and Song by express boat, but it takes only 2.5 hours to drive on the 160-kilometer Cebu-Kapit Road. The stretch is currently at 88% completion and expected to be done by December this year. Following a visit to experience the new road, Dayakdaily journalists discovered that a blockade at one point along the Ngemah-Temalat stretch at certain hours has been causing traffic stagnation for road users. The halt in traffic movement that caused a long queue thus gave rise to the misconception that there was a traffic jam at the Cebu-Kapit Road. Apparently, Sarawak Public Works Department (JKR) had issued a statement on October 6, indicating that the particular stretch will be open on a scheduled basis for public use due to ongoing construction activities. So, should road users or travelers then complain about the hold-up when a public statement has been issued to explain that the Ngemah-Temalat stretch is only open at certain hours? In the court last week, the chairman of a village development and security committee, his cousin and his son were arrested by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission on October 6 to facilitate investigation of a case involving the abuse of minor rural project funds. The 3 suspects, aged between 27 and 57, were released on MACC bail after their remand expired on October 9. They allegedly abused their power and misused the MRP fund of 50,000 ringgit to pay the upfront payment to purchase a 5-ton lorry for their own use. Meanwhile, a Kuching Water Board Deputy General Manager was remanded on October 13 for 7 days to facilitate MACC investigation into alleged corruption which occurred between 2015 and 2018. The 57-year-old allegedly received 36,100 ringgit from a contractor as an inducement to facilitate and speed up the payment of claims for construction work which had been completed. Now let's take a quick look at COVID-19 in Sarawak. There have been 17 new cases for the past week. The cumulative number of positive cases now stands at 759 as of October 16. With that, 4 districts including Kuching, Cebu, Bintulu and Lubuk Antu remain as yellow zones with a total of 13 local transmission cases recorded within the past 14 days. 2 clusters remain active in Sarawak, namely the Bah Arnab cluster in Kuching with 4 cases and the Putra cluster in Bintulu with 6 cases. For the past week until yesterday, SMK Bandar Bintulu was ordered to be closed down for 7 days starting October 10 for sanitization and cleaning works following a confirmed COVID-19 case in the school. The school shall continue its operation on October 19, this coming Monday. Meanwhile, there have been a few updates on the entry restrictions into Sarawak. Police permit is now required to enter the state from Kuala Lumpur International Airport and Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. State Disaster Management Committee Chairman Datuk Ahmad Douglas Uga Embas said those travelling between states from KLIA to Kuching and Kuching to KLIA as well as between Kuching to Kota Kinabalu will now require a permit from the police before applying to enter the state via Enter Sarawak app prior to their journey. Similarly related, Uga on October 15 announced that the entry restrictions into Sarawak for travellers from Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah effective October 4 to 18 have been extended until November 15 this year. This decision was made by SDMC given the fact that 50% of the total 59 cases detected in the state to date have travel history to Sabah and Labuan and the other 50% have visited Peninsular Malaysia. That is the DDWeekly news for this week. Thank you for watching. I'm Ling Hui and you have a great weekend.